The road to Royal Rumble 2026 just took a sharp and dangerous turn, and it all started with a single sentence that sent shockwaves through the WWE landscape. Paul Heyman didn't shout. He didn't threaten. He didn't raise his voice. He simply looked Adam Pearce in the eye and told him it was time to FAFO. And if you know anything about Paul Heyman, you know that when he speaks calmly, something explosive is about to happen. Welcome to Wrestling Space, where we don't just recap WWE moments, we break them down, connect the dots, and explain why they matter long after the segment ends. This moment didn't feel like a typical authority figure confrontation. There was no chaos yet. No brawl. No security rushing the ring. What made this exchange terrifying was the restraint. The control. The confidence. Paul Heyman walked into the Royal Rumble 2026 countdown show not as a manager, not as a mouthpiece, but as a man who knows the system better than anyone standing in it. Adam Pearce opened the segment trying to project authority. He talked about order. He talked about rules. He talked about how Royal Rumble season is unpredictable and how WWE needs stability. On the surface, it sounded reasonable. But underneath it all, there was tension. Pearce wasn't speaking to the locker room. He was speaking to one man. Paul Heyman stood there, hands folded, eyes locked in, listening like a predator waiting for the perfect moment to strike. When Pearce finished, there was a pause. A long one. The crowd started to murmur because they knew what was coming. Heyman doesn't waste words, and he doesn't speak unless he's already 10 steps ahead. That's when he leaned forward and changed the temperature in the building. Heyman reminded Pearce that Royal Rumble isn't about control. It's about consequences. He talked about how every decision made by management eventually comes back around. He spoke about past Royal Rumbles, careers altered, legacies destroyed, and empires built because someone underestimated the wrong person at the wrong time. And then came the line. Paul Heyman told Adam Pearce that it was time to FAFO. The crowd erupted, not because of the phrase itself, but because of who was saying it. This wasn't trash talk. This wasn't internet slang for shock value. This was a warning. FAFO in this context didn't mean chaos for chaos' sake. It meant actions will have consequences, and those consequences won't be handled in meetings or emails. They'll be handled in the ring. Pearce tried to push back. He asked Heyman who he thought he was talking to. He reminded him that he runs the show, that he signs the contracts, that he controls the Royal Rumble entries. And that's when Heyman smiled. That smile told the entire story. Heyman calmly explained that Adam Pearce only believes he controls the board. He pointed out that power in WWE has never come from clipboards or offices. It comes from leverage. From influence. From knowing where the bodies are buried and when to apply pressure. And Paul Heyman has made a career out of surviving every regime, every authority figure, every power shift this company has ever seen. The segment escalated without anyone raising their voice. Heyman hinted that certain names, certain contracts, and certain Royal Rumble spots were already in motion. He didn't confirm anything. He didn't deny anything. He let the implication do the damage. That's what made this moment special. This wasn't about one match or one feud. This was about the structure of WWE heading into Royal Rumble 2026. Heyman wasn't just warning Pearce. He was reminding the entire locker room that the game is changing again. The camera cut to backstage reactions throughout the night. Superstars watching monitors. Some looking nervous. Some looking intrigued. Some smiling because chaos creates opportunity. That's when it became clear that FAFO wasn't aimed at one person. It was aimed at everyone who thought Royal Rumble season was business as usual. Later in the show, Pearce tried to reassert control by announcing additional stipulations and clarifying entry rules, but it felt reactive. Every move he made felt like a response to Heyman rather than a decision of strength. That's the subtle power shift that great wrestling storytelling lives on. Paul Heyman didn't need to appear again. His work was done. By the end of the countdown show, the tone was set. Royal Rumble 2026 isn't just about surprise entrants and WrestleMania dreams. It's about power. About who really runs things when pressure hits its peak. About what happens when authority meets experience and experience refuses to be intimidated. And that's why this segment will matter long after the Royal Rumble bell rings. Because FAFO isn't a catchphrase here. It's a philosophy. It means that every decision Adam Pearce makes from this point forward will be tested. Challenged. Exploited. And if he slips even once, Paul Heyman will be there to collect. Royal Rumble season is officially dangerous again. And here on Wrestling Space, we'll be watching every move, every hint, and every consequence as the story unfolds. Because in WWE, the most dangerous moments aren't always the loudest ones. Sometimes, they come wrapped in a quiet warning and a smile that tells you everything you need to know.